Elhamdülillah. Bugünleri bizlere yaşta Rabbimize hamdolsun. Cihadı, Allah yolunda yürümeyi, kafirlere bizim elimizde azam ellerine Rabbimize hamdolsun.
Ukrainian 42nd Mechanized Brigade repelled a massive attack in the Kharkiv region. As a result of the fighting, the Russians suffered the following losses: 13 killed, 27 wounded, 2 T-62 tanks were destroyed, 2 T-62 tanks were damaged, 2 BMP-3 destroyed, 1 armored personnel carrier was damaged. Daily bread of the Ukrainian armed forces. Russia's military has faced significant setbacks in the Kharkiv region. Despite initial advances, their inability to secure substantial territorial gains highlights persistent weaknesses in strategy and coordination. Ukrainian forces, bolstered by advanced Western weaponry and strong local resistance, have successfully launched counteroffensives, reclaiming key areas and stalling Russian progress. Compounding Russia's struggles are massive losses in manpower and equipment. Reports indicate thousands of casualties and the destruction of critical hardware, further straining their overstretched supply lines. Morale among Russian troops appears to be deteriorating, with growing evidence of disorganization and low motivation. 2 points to make. Russia's ability to attack in Vovchansk is limited by Russia's deployments to Kursk. The idea that attacking Kursk did not draw forces away from attacking the Ukrainian lines is objectively wrong. The book is closed on that argument. Second, ATACMS strikes on Russia had no significant consequence for anyone except Russia. Their blustering about red lines was geared only towards fools, and only fools fell for it. The Russian response to ATACMS consisted little more than flaunting their useless missile that costs too much money and gives no abilities it doesn't already have, with cheaper and more effective weapons, and then everything returned to normal. Thermal view of a Korn Group FPV drone striking a Russian assault group in the Kursk region. Russian forces are suffering heavy losses in the Kursk region, facing relentless Ukrainian strikes targeting troops and supply lines. Despite their attempts to fortify positions, poor coordination and mounting casualties are crippling their efforts. 2 Russian prisoners taken by the Ukrainian armed forces. Their condition is not good and the winter is yet to arrive. Let's see something from Syria. That won't please Putin. Pro-Turkish rebels burn the Russian flag. Russia's strategic interests in Syria are under serious threat as rebel forces gain momentum on key fronts. Pro-Turkish factions have advanced in regions critical to Russian-backed Syrian government control, challenging Moscow's ability to maintain its influence. The escalation has strained Russian resources, already stretched thin by the war in Ukraine, and exposed vulnerabilities in their military support to Damascus. Additionally, growing tensions with Turkey complicate Moscow's position, as Ankara backs the rebels while Russia seeks to preserve its dominance. And back to comedy. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov warns, those escalating the situation around Ukraine to the limit will face deserved punishment.
What is currently happening with these long-range missiles striking Russian territory? How much does this suggest that the Russian special operation was completely inevitable, just truly inevitable? It was inevitable from the very start. The president explained this in detail in his speech. Apparently, those who is now trying to stir up tensions and escalate the situation to the limit, but they have not read the Russian president's statement. It should be done regularly. And now, there's an expression we have in impotent rage, out of desperation, but they will face their deserved punishment.
Russians, they are moped stormtroopers in vodka mode. The regime in Georgia will not go down without a certain amount of violence. The courage of the demonstrators is worthy of all praise. Motorcycle groups joined the protests in Tbilisi, which are still ongoing. In Georgia, a powerful movement of progressive forces has united in protest against the pro-Russian government, reflecting widespread discontent with its policies and alignment with Moscow. Demonstrators from diverse backgrounds, students, activists, opposition politicians, and ordinary citizens have come together, demanding a shift toward democratic reforms and closer ties with the West. The protests were sparked by controversial actions, such as laws seen as restricting press freedom and suppressing civil liberties. Many see these as signs of increasing Russian influence in Georgia's political system. The movement has gained momentum as symbols of resistance, such as the European Union flag, are widely displayed, underscoring a strong desire to move toward European integration. Despite heavy-handed crackdowns by the government, including arrests and attempts to disperse crowds, the protesters remain resilient. Their unity has become a symbol of hope and a call for change, sending a clear message. The people of Georgia refuse to let their country drift back into Moscow's sphere of control. This grassroots movement reflects a broader regional trend where progressive forces challenge authoritarian influence and advocate for democracy, sovereignty, and human rights. Russia launched over 500 guided bombs, nearly 660 attack drones, and 120 missiles of various types against Ukraine this week, says Zelensky. No country in the world has faced such daily attacks for so long, he added. Russia's relentless attacks on Ukrainian civilian infrastructure, including energy grids, residential buildings, and essential services, underscore its strategic impotence on the battlefield. These strikes, aimed at sowing fear and demoralizing the population, highlight Moscow's inability to achieve significant military gains against Ukraine's resilient forces. Far from breaking Ukraine's spirit, these actions have galvanized international support, resulting in more aid and advanced weaponry for Kyiv. Targeting civilians reveals a shift to desperation tactics, reflecting not strength, but the failure of Russia's broader military strategy in the conflict. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz arrived in Kyiv. Maybe he will explain why Germany hesitates to send its Taurus missiles.
Our Deputy Minister, Alexander Mishchenko. How was your trip, Your Excellency? We are glad, so please. We are wishing that.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.